Hello, hello, and welcome to Faith Loving Coffee, you guys. I am Trish.
Hey, Jamie present.
Hello, I'm Jeanette.
This is our crew, you guys. And thank you so much. I know that we were absent last Saturday. There's just been a lot going on, which also is about our program today, which is about decluttering and purging. Now, I just moved this last weekend. Actually, I'm still in the process of moving. And then my sister also did a big move as well not too long ago. So we are going to discuss a little bit about decluttering and purging. And it's not just about the physical, you guys, because, there's a lot that goes on when we throw things away. And some of them are not, it's not just a physical thing for us, but an emotional thing for us. And so we're going to talk about that. Now, I know I said that I'm in the middle of a move. Jamie was in the middle of, now, Jeanette, when was the last time you moved? You've done like a purge in your house?
Probably, it's been a while. Needs to happen again.
Right.
That minute, yes.
I just feel like I have to do it again, period. Like, okay, this whole process has been, I have not moved in 10 years, y'all. So it's been a process, and it's also been just like overwhelming and tiring but liberating at the same time in some instances. It's just, just overwhelming is a good word. Whether it's good or bad, it's that word.
It's a lot.
So, it is a lot. It is a lot. We only had a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,300 square foot home that we actually ordered a 15-foot dumpster for and filled that dumpster. Filled it with just stuff that we just had around the house. And when you talk about that, we also had some things left over from my husband's parents' home, which we finally decided, and he decided also, to let go of. And letting go of something like that, was hard for him because those were things for his parents. And of course, they're not with us any longer. But there are just a few things he really wanted to hold on to. Now, his father had the series of sets of books that were Catholic books that actually told you about each of the books in the Bible. And it was like like a resource or something like that. And he kept 2 out of all of the ones that were thrown away. So, but
is there a special reason for those 2?
I don't know. He goes, which one should we keep? The one that I'm like, ooh, Psalms would be really good, or the Acts, Romans, or I mean, because they all have been, they all have really good stuff in them, and I'm just like, because there's just so many, and I don't even know which 2 he kept. He kept 2. So
you should have asked him to keep Revelations, the scary chapter of the Bible.
The scary one.
I feel like we're in that now. Oh, but that's another chapter.
Another topic for another day.
That's another conversation to have, y'all. But it's just been crazy. Like I just said that I'm still in the middle of it because the fiasco. This has just been such a fiasco, and then the moving experience wasn't the greatest. It was actually just awful. And, our brand new build up home, which is still a rental, but it's still a brand new home, never lived in before, got damaged from the moving company. And that, that just puts an extra level of stress on you, But when I went to go tell the guys at the office, they were like, yeah, okay, it happens. And I'm like, okay. So I still have to put in the insurance part of it, so that way I can get that taken care of. And it's just one thing after another, and it's just so tiring. So I'm supposed to be getting ready for a trip next weekend, and honestly, I've even forgot about having a trip next weekend.
Is there something particular that you let go of, like physically, that you had been holding on to for a while?
Physically, that I have been holding
Yeah.
on to for
Like
a while.
an item, yeah, like a piece of furniture, or something that you were like, you know what, I think it's time to just not
Let
take
it
it to the
go.
next. Yeah. That you
Well,
like, it was hard to.
like some of the items that I've let go that I think still have use for, I've donated,
Okay.
that way it can go on to somebody else. But like some of the tattered books and things like that we used to read to Trinity, and she said, just throw it out, Mom. She goes, I don't need them. And I'm like, but, and it
Yeah.
just, because, those are the books that you read to them, or the little toys that they had, because I kept this cute little VTech. Is that it? Is a VTech? And it was like not the three little pigs, but the kittens who lost their mittens. And she loved that. And you would turn it over and it would say, you know,
Yeah.
the little voice would come on, and, and I kept that, and I kept it. And, but the stuff to her crib, I had all that. So even the little mobile thing, and then like the stuff that came was, how do you call them?
The
The bumper.
The
Yeah.
bumpers that went around her crib, because
Yeah.
they're such pretty colors. They were pink and like a maroon color, and it was just very colorful and so pretty. And
That's
I'm
a
like,
long
okay,
time.
one day she can maybe give it to her kid. And she's like, I don't want no kids. Of course, she's 14, but But I
Girl,
was
by
like,
the time
she'll find her own, so we just let it go. And
well, I was gonna say they're gonna be doing 3D printed like bumpers when
I
she's
know,
like
right?
when she has kids. There will be no
We
more
just-
like any of that.
But yeah, those kinds of things that I had to let go of, that I was like, okay, it's just time. And then even Matt, like his grandmother had knitted all these beautiful blankets and everything, but inside the plastic, you can see where it was already molded and it was turning yellow.
Yeah.
So there's really not much you can do about getting those out. And it was a
No.
huge bag. So we threw that out.
That was probably tough too. Yeah.
Like there was this one, I can't remember what it was, but Matt was like, he goes, you actually threw something out of my mom's that you didn't. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought you said you weren't vested into this anymore. And he goes, and I'm like, but he goes, just let me look at it one more time. And I'm like, okay. And so he looked at it and almost kind of like, he kind of got teary eyed, and he came to peace with it. And he said, okay, let it go. I said, you throw it away then, because it's for you to throw away now.
Yeah.
So you got to put it in the dumpster. So lots of memories,
Yeah.
but you're thinking, oh, like as a parent, you're thinking, oh, one day my kid will, or one, that kind of thing. And they're like, I don't care. And then when they tell you that, it's almost like a little piece of your soul just got burned out.
Crushed.
Because it was
Crushed.
like, you don't know what that meant to me.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
it's just like, oh, it's almost like flipping.
Yeah.
What?
And I always say, like, Devin, because he's a guy, young man now, he should not be, have too much sentimentality, but he has zero.
If it doesn't serve a purpose, is what they keep on telling me in my mind, but it did serve a purpose.
Yeah. That's the struggle I have, because when I moved, I kept stuff that I know I probably should have let go, but until my sentimentality is at zero, I gotta keep it. But you don't realize how much stuff you have until you do get ready to purge and move, or whatever the reason is. Um, and so for me, it was, I let go. I kept my memories, like pictures and you
Mhm.
know some of Devin's. I just have like a tub of Devin's stuff, nothing crazy, or anything. But some stuff, like you said, does it serve a purpose? It did. So
Yeah.
like, why does it have to not anymore? You know what I mean? So like, I get it. I get it. And I mean, y'all, that's a lot. 15 foot is a lot.
And that still wasn't enough.
It's a
Like we should have gotten a 20. We should have gotten a
gosh,
20. Yeah, because there's
that's
still
a
more stuff
lot.
to. There's still more stuff to
Just
purge.
stuff
Yeah.
to,
It
yeah,
really
yeah.
is. So, but Jeanette, like you said, that it's time to now. If you were going to, if there was anything that you were going to get rid of right now, what would it be?
Golly. I don't even know. I know we need to purge the girls' closets because we have not done that in a really long time. A
That's
really long time.
Wow.
Girls have a lot of stuff. Their closets could really benefit somebody.
And then like, especially with my youngest one, like she just bought an outfit when we were in Corpus, and I'm like, are you really gonna wear that? Because it's not something that she usually wears, right? She actually wore it yesterday, so I was really surprised because I'm like, is it gonna be where you wear it like one time and you're done? So like her stuff that's in her closet, I can't even tell you when the last time was she actually wore some of that stuff, because a lot of it just stays in her dresser, that like her stuff, her go-to. Because she doesn't really like jeans and she doesn't really wear dresses. If she wears a dress, you better get a picture of it because it's not going to happen often. But she's got all these nice clothes, that we needed for something that she didn't
Wow.
wear at one time.
But as she grew out of them,
Girl, she has grown so much. She is so tall right now.
oh gosh.
Like,
So
there was a pair of jeans she put on. I was like, take them off. They're high waters. Like, same thing with a pair of sweats. I was like, girl, when did you grow? I even told her I feel like she's grown over the last 2 weeks. I
Oh
feel
my
like she's
gosh.
getting taller. Oh, yes.
But they still fit her.
But not, well, yeah, the waist, because, whatever, but it's the
I'm
length
trying those
that's
things into some
just not
shorts.
working for her.
yeah.
Yeah. I'd still turn those into shorts if I could. And then
Oh,
say,
I
here,
know, because the stuff that they buy, they're like cut off denim shorts anyway, right? So might as well save money and just make your own out of those jeans.
yeah,
They are.
exactly. Even the what do you call it? Even the uh what was it that you just said she wore the knit, what is it, the
No,
sweat
warm up sweatpants. Yeah.
sweatpants, you can even do that with them. Because listen, like this kid walked into my house yesterday with a jacket and it was like 86 degrees outside. I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Like,
they're always wearing hoodies. Like it's hoodie season 24/7, 365.
oh my God, I'm so glad I'm not the only one experiencing this. Because it's like it is do you, have you walked outside yet? Because I promise you. Because like she'll come in with a sweater dress. I'm like, what are you wearing? Oh, and she'll be like, I'm cold, and I'm like, go outside and thaw out. Come right back in. I promise you, you're going to take that thing off.
Yeah.
So, and like here, like what's going on here right now is we're having unusually warm weather. Like we're in the 90s. We don't get to 90s in July. We get to 90s in August, but not in July. So
Mother
we're still,
Nature. Mother
huh?
Nature's tripping out.
Matt said, get ready. He said, because it's 10 degrees hotter over in Texas right now, and the heat indexes are in the hundreds. And I'm like, yeah.
Get ready for the
I don't
Texas
know.
humidity, girl.
I'm going to say this. Since being down here in South Texas, I can't complain as much as I probably would have last year. It's been hot. There have been days it's been hot and humid, but it's rained a lot here. And so even up north, I've been from Oklahoma back down here within the last 3 weeks twice. And rain, tornado warning in Oklahoma when I was there. I was like, oh, okay. But so like here I don't think it's been as hot. Now, when you come, that's Mother Nature's going to flip the switch and be like, I'm going to prove you wrong, and be hot. It probably will be. But I have been pleasantly surprised by the weather right now.
Well,
not too crazy.
I mean, I know that. Okay, so we, just like I had said before, we had gotten that 50 foot, or we should have gotten a 20-foot truck. Honestly, we just went through our closets like 6 months ago and pulled out all these clothes, and I was like, okay, I'm good with this. But now I feel, so we have bags upon bags upon bags of clothes because we put them in those vacuum sealed bags to make it easier. And we emptied the dressers out for the move to make it easier for the movers. Y'all, I feel like we need to go through that again because we just have too many clothes. Trinity's actually like, my daughter, she's like, I do not want to take clothes down to Corpus because I feel like we need to go on a shopping spree. And I'm like, and who is paying for this shopping spree?
Yes. Which job is supplying this money?
I'm like, So anyway, I'm like, no, you're gonna take some clothes, and then if we go shopping, we'll go shopping. So I was like, all right. But I'm like, we don't need any more clothes because apparently you don't know what to wear. And she's in that stage right now, which I know this could be another episode, you guys. I know we're going off on a tangent, but she don't want to wear nothing. Like she just wants to wear an itty bitty something up here or down there, and then just enough to cover the essentials, and she's good. And I'm not down with that. I'm a little bit more.
Yes, it's not time for that.
It's not time for that. She's just 14.
No. Yes. But I think we all kind of went through something like that. Like maybe not at 14, but at some point we all dressed a little bit to cover the essentials.
Only like when I was 21 is going out to the club, y'all. And that's all I'm going to say.
Well, I mean, I think we
still as an adult.
I think it's, for me, I feel like it's generationally becoming a younger type thing. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think Gen X was that like that. Like I did go to school with some girls that would wear short skirts, but not terribly short. Like, I don't know. I feel like some of these kids have gotten a little out of control.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's just the kids. I feel like some adult women have too.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Yes.
Which again is a whole other
podcast. A whole other topic. Well, speaking of, go ahead.
No. I was going to get back kind of on topic because before we decided to come on and talk, we mentioned this topic and Jeanette brought up a good point, which I think is where you added not just for the physical, because my mind goes straight to throwing stuff away, giving stuff away. But she mentioned not just for the physical. And then when she explained, which I'm going to let her speak on it because she does not talk enough on this show. It made sense to me. I was like, see, so then that's going to take a different turn.
Yes, I was talking about the headspace that you let your negative thoughts or things that people have told you, the criticisms, the verbal abuse, all of that occupies space in your head, right? In your head and in your heart. At some time, you have to let that go to be able to heal and to recover and to move on. Because, I know that I've, had been in an abusive relationship and there was a lot of verbal abuse also, right? And I held on to that for so long. And so it was hard to start to know who I was again or to get into a relationship with somebody else because all that stayed in my head, right? And until I started to let it go, that's when I was able to start healing from that relationship and to be able to move on and move forward and grow. So, I think some people don't think about that. Like you need to just breathe it out and walk away. because I think some people don't know how to let it go. But I know we've talked about it about, write it, burn it, release it. And that's just a way of purging it too. Like purge those thoughts, purge those feelings. If you have, ill feelings towards somebody, release that. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you have to go be a best friend to them, but just release that negative energy that you're holding on to.
I agree.
I love that.
I do too.
I
I
do.
do 100%.
Because,
Yeah.
there's people that hold on to this resentment until they die. And then you think about it, they were not happy people. Like they were grumpy, they were grouchy, there was always something. But I think it's because they didn't know how to really, like, think about our ancestors, like our grandparents and stuff like that. I don't think they ever really knew how to release those kinds of things the way that we have now, the resources and stuff we have now.
Yeah.
No, because I think they were taught to hold on to grudges.
They were.
Yeah.
They were.
Keep it, for that kind of thing. Even, even if somebody who wronged you is no longer on this earth, then they're still going to hold on to that grudge. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, they're like, wait until I see them. I'm gonna go, wait till I die and I see them. I'm gonna punch them. Or Jamie's laughing because she knows, but it's true. They hold on to these grudges, and you're just like, how can you be happy if you're holding on to so much anger and resentment? I don't know.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
But
almost
I
like
just
with
like I
some
had
of
said
our
before, huh?
with some like with our families, sometimes you don't even want to bring stuff up because then it comes out like claws all like "Meow," and you're like, God, all I said was, and it just brings up that stuff again.
Yeah. But any time that our grandmother was mentioned, it was just like, and then all of a sudden there's a fight, and I'm like, oh my God, what just happened?
Yes.
So, but like, I think I had mentioned before, like when I was in an abusive relationship when I was younger, um, it took me 3 years to get back to who I was again. And that was after spending what, 4.5, 5.5 years with this person. And that's how much damage and that's how much a person can get into your head. But at the end of it, it wasn't a fact of being mad at that person. It was being mad at myself because I knew better, you know, because I've had people say, I look up to you. Your work ethic and, or, your head is on your shoulders and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I said, that must have been a great facade during that period of life, during that period of my time, because I wasn't put together at all, and I must have faked it till I made it because it really took a toll on who I was, and trying to tell myself that I was beautiful and that I'm, worthy, and that I am loved. So I'm not. I didn't have to hear those words anymore, or you know, um, being compared to somebody else. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, and I think the only person that really came out of that, you know, upset or anything was me, because again, I knew better and I should have known better, and I should have ended that the moment it happened. And I was young and dumb and thought that I could change somebody, and you can't, you guys, you just can't. You can't change somebody until they're ready to change, and that is a completely different thing, and that's called codependency, and we'll touch back on that another time.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that I had to do a lot too back then, was to purge all those thoughts, all those um, negative self-talk. And even back then, it wasn't called negative self-talk back then until now, because the resources that we have today, that was a lot of negative self-talk, because then you start believing what that person tells you, and it's repeated over and over and over again, and until you're in your own mind thinking, well, maybe I'm not this way. Maybe I'm not, that person that they're looking for. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not, but then when you come out of it and come out of the other end, you're like, no, I am beautiful. I am, worthy. I am loved. And I know that I'm good, you know. Um, And it has, that took a toll on body. And of course, your self body image and all that kind of stuff. And um, try to purge those things out of your head.
Okay,
It
so
took a long time.
looking back, because okay, you guys were younger when
Mhm.
y'all had this situation. I haven't ever been in that type of abusive. For me, it wasn't physical, or I'll leave mental on the table still. And then, but I think for me, like mine was kind of like financial, mental, a little bit, and some emotional. Right? It wasn't ever physical, but looking back, because y'all were young, I was too old to have gotten in this my situation. Looking back, have you ever thought to yourself like, if I would have a year in, out, you know what I mean, let it got out of the relationship, or it got, you know what I mean? Is there a time you look back and you're like, you knew better at this point? Why did you like keep going? Why did, you know what I mean? Because like I look at both of you guys and I'm like, it couldn't have been fear, but it may have been. And now the way I see you guys is because of that. You know what I mean? You had that, and now you're like, excuse my words, but badasses because you went through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was there like, is there a point you look back and you want to maybe tell someone like, hey, at the first sign of like whatever, I'm always like, those red flags, honey, please watch them. You know what I mean? Pay attention. Um, but is there any like advice, especially for anyone who's been or is maybe still in a situation, that you would be like, if I could go back, I would have left at this point, or I knew it could potentially happen?
Yeah, like with my relationship I was in, I was always threatened, like, if you tell anybody or if you try to leave, like, I'll kill you, right? And so that was hard. But, it ended up that he ended up doing something and made it really easy where I got to leave or whatever. But then he still threatened me thereafter. But I just feel like some women, they just stay because of that, but you have to have the right people, I think, in your lives and in your corner to be able to help remove you from that situation. Even like the first time that they tell you, like, if you ever tell anybody that I hate you or you ever tell anybody this, I'll kill you. I think that if you have a chance to actually talk to somebody and get away, like, get away. Because even if they hate you one time and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, it'll never happen again, that's a lie. So I feel like that's the first red flag. And if, life does move on, even though you think it's not going to. But I think that's like one of the first red flags.
Okay.
Or I was drunk and I was upset. I didn't mean to hit you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, right. Whatever.
Okay. That's a good, I like that. That's a good example.
Mhm. Well, in the relationship that I was in, we actually had lived together for a year before anything happened. And actually, it was a good year. But one day we had friends come over and he got really drunk, like really drunk. And the couple who we had over, his girlfriend got really drunk. And so he said, it's time for us to go. So she was like, no, I want to stay. I want to stay. And he goes, no, it's time to go. He goes, I don't want things to get out of control. He goes, and we're going down that path. So he goes, it's time for us to go. And so the person that I was with, he goes, no, you need to go and make them stay. And I'm like, I can't make them stay because he's telling
Like hold
her
them
it's time
hostage
to
type
go
stuff.
because he's trying to, you know,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
calm the
Diffuse any type
situation
of
or
something.
whatever and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, they had already left, and the next thing you know, I'm being punched like a man, and I'm just like, and that really took me for a loop because I'm like, what just happened? I mean, it was almost like it was complete 180. Like I didn't know the person in front of me, and like he it was really strange because anywhere that I moved in the house, he was just there watching me, like he was about to pounce on me again or something. And then finally he passed out. And that's when I left and I went to a payphone. Y'all, if y'all don't know what a payphone is, look it up on your, look it up, okay? So, and I don't want to paint a bad picture of the person I called, which I felt would have been my safe place. But I was told I made my bed and to lie in it. And so I felt like I had nowhere to go. So the very person that I thought would have my back didn't. And I was like, and at that moment in time, I was like, where can I go? I have a career up here. I can't leave, I don't have anywhere to stay. I've got to go to work and, all that kind of stuff. Not even thinking, I had a whole family back down in South Texas that would have definitely, have taken me in and there were no questions asked, that kind of thing. But thinking back on it, which I've had plenty of years to think back on it, I would have left with the shirt on my back, knowing now what I, didn't know then. Yeah. So I would have left with the shirt on my back and drove down there and had somebody Western Union money or whatever the hell at that point in time and would have gotten out.
Yeah.
And that would have been it. But no, I guess there was a night of shock, and then I felt I had to be there. So, and that's where everything just started, catapulting. And then he thought that it was okay. He said he didn't remember. And then when I visited our couple friend, which were my friends from work, by the way, the next day when I saw him, his face was scratched up because she had also been violent towards him. And that was, rough to see. So, but yeah, that would, the moment he touched me, the moment I had already started thinking, but then I was like, girl, you've had military training, you've had everything. And then my military training didn't kick in until the 5.5 years that I was with this dude. And I said, enough.
Yeah.
So
in that year's time y'all were together before that, like
mm-hmm.
couples gathering or whatever, had he like drank before and then
he drank before, but he never got that drunk.
Not like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Never had a reason to even put a hand on me.
Yeah. I thought so. But I just, you just sometimes you hear stories and you're like, dang, where did that come from? And so
we just had one year and that was it. And I was like, okay. I mean, I knew he was a drinker, but he never let me know until, that one time. And that's all it took. And it was downhill from there. He thought it was okay to do it all the time. So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but anyway.
That's tough. No, I know. I'm like, I'm just sitting there like, that's tough because I feel like you guys lose so much of your life trying to like get those thoughts out of your head. When I say lose your life, I just mean like your soul has just been like gutted. You know what I mean? And and it takes so long to get that back. And it's not just women, men go through it too.
Oh my God, yes.
It's not talked about enough. Yeah, it's not talked about enough. We always like, oh, it's the man. But like, you think about those people who have been through stuff like that and you're like, gosh, all those years that you had to like get yourself together and realize, this was just one person of so many people who love you, who think you're great, who all this, but you just take all those things that happen and they just sit on you. And I think that's why I'd be more mad that I like got upset with myself. You know what I mean? Like to let one person just take that whole, amazingness from me, but then that's why I say, I look at you guys now and I'm like, you wouldn't even know. You still don't like carry it with you. You know what I mean? It's, so that is the positive. It's just, God, the amount of time people spend getting over that.
But you do have to let it go. I mean, you really do. I mean, it's okay. Like for me, I don't even bat an eye about it anymore. Like I don't like
Yes.
it's
Yes.
easy for me to talk about. It's not,
Yes.
it's not something that stays with me or like the woulda, coulda, shoulda or anything else like that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
happened for a reason, and I have to believe that the reason it happened was because God led me to this man who has always been kind to me. Really, I mean, he may be selfish, but he's not been to the point where he's ever hit me or said bad things to me or called me any kind of name or told me I wasn't good enough or anything else like that. I mean, this is, you know, and for us to have been to be together now for, 26 and a half years, that speaks, a lot to what I was at before. So, um, yeah, they just, they just taught me what I didn't want in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. I can agree with that one. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Craziness. If only we could have some of our relatives purge some of their stuff that they've held on to. That would be amazing, but you
That
can't.
would be lovely.
I know I've tried with some of them, like, why can't you just let it go? They're like, I
Mhm.
can't. And I'm like, but why? Like, why are
Why?
you holding on to that? Like,
Yeah.
what is the purpose of holding on to that?
Do they
Like,
not know how? I mean, do they even like ask you, well, how would you do that? Like, do
well,
you,
like if you sit around, like when we are sitting around the table in families, there's a lot of cheeseman going on, right? They all have relatives that have been dead for like 20 years. And because one day back in 1968,
oh
they
my Lord
called
God.
them a name, like they hate them now and they're never going to let that go. And you can tell when they're talking about it, like you can ask Jamie, they're angry about it and they're mad about it. And you're going, that person died. Like, that happened back in 1968. Why are you still mad? Why are you still holding on to that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
But I mean, that's what I don't understand. Like, they hold on to so much and they can't just release it. And I'm going, that part of your soul and your heart is probably like dying a little at a time because you can't
Yes.
Yeah.
breathe.
Yeah. Because it's
Purge
taking up
those.
space where something positive could happen in their life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Oh
that's,
my gosh.
of course, there's always going to be something negative, but you want to make, but there is going to be something negative. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or we're all human, right?
Right.
And and honestly, that's where um, it has been clinically proven that we're creatures of negative thought, not positive thought.
I
And
can believe
so
it.
it actually takes effort for us to think positively. So when we're talking about, purging all these negative thoughts, yeah, we're trying to change the norm because the normal is negativity, which was really surprising for me to hear. So, but you know, I can have, I mean, like all last weekend was nothing but negative thoughts. Y'all, God, it was so hard because, and I'm like, so anyway, yeah, the whole moving thing, and yeah, we can purge all the physical things out of our life, and we can purge this, that, and the other, and things that have mattered to us, and things that had special meaning and all that stuff. But if it's cluttering your life and it's cluttering something that you can make space for something that's going to be more positive, then by all means do it. You know, and if you
Yeah.
have to sit there and hold on to that piece of physical item that you have, and say, I'm releasing you. Then if that helps you, then do it. And then just let it go. Throw it in the trash right in front of you or a dumpster like I did. So,
Set it on fire. No, I'm kidding.
My
listen,
gosh,
I
you're
wish I could
creative
have pulled a
person.
match to it all and started all over again. You know what I
On
mean?
fire. Yes.
Oh my God.
We're moving offices and I had to go through some of the stuff, the paperwork that was there because, since I'm the administrative director, they're like, Jeanette will know what we need to keep and what we can get rid of, right? So I went to the office and there's boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff, right? Mind you, we had already moved from another office to this one that we're in now that we're moving from. And I kid you not, y'all, I'm going through this stuff and I kept saying, why are we holding on to this? This should have been just, we didn't even need to bring this from the other office to this office. Why do we have it? Was, the people that were packed up the last time, were they just lazy and said, we'll look at it when we get there? And then it never got looked at. Y'all, they took 550 pounds of documents to be shredded at one of the FedEx offices. 550 pounds of stuff that should have been decluttered and purged way back in like 2021. And I kept saying that over and over. And then I told the CFO, I'm like, we should just have a bonfire. He goes, wouldn't that be nice? And I said, yeah, let's get a big fire pit, just throw all this in there and just light it on fire.
I thought about the same thing too, you guys. I honestly did. I thought, let me just gather all this paperwork that I've had sitting in this house that's like 10 years old and just fire it.
Burn
That's
it.
never been so much easier. Gosh, so much stuff. It's just crazy. So much stuff. But anyway. Well, any last thoughts?
Any last thoughts? No.
I have zero. Surprisingly.
That negative energy is all I got to say.
Yes. Yes. Get rid of that
That's a
negative
good one.
energy. Yeah. That's the purge we're talking about.
On to, like I always tell people, pick and choose your battles and, walk away from that negative energy if you can. It's not worth it.
That's good. That's very good. And for those of y'all who are even thinking, if you're in a relationship where it is an abusive relationship and you may have a career you love, some things we just have to walk away from to be able to get back to ourselves or get back to who you are and to get away from the person who continues to hold you down. So again, like I had said before, I would have walked away with the shirt on my back, knowing that I should have thought that there would have been people out there who would have taken care of me. So, and believe me when I say it's not just about families. There's shelters out there. Reach out to a friend. Anything that you can to get away from this person that this person may not even know. That way they won't have a trace of you, of where you went or anything else like that. And if that's not enough, call the authorities. That's all I got to say. They will. They're more tolerant to your plight. They don't take that stuff for granted anymore. It's not like, okay, ma'am, we've come over, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. I've had several visits like that too. So again, if you need help, get it. If you can leave, go. So you just don't need that in your life anymore. And life is too short because you never know. You never know. We all could, someone could be here today and gone tomorrow. You never know. But don't do anything illegal, okay?
Right.
You do not look good in Prison Orange. You do not look good in Prison Orange. Just repeat that to yourself.
Absolutely.
And they don't serve real wine. Like they make their own. But I don't know. I wouldn't trust it.
All right, you guys, let's go ahead and close this up. So all y'all remember to keep faith, spread love, and savor every sip of life. Until the next time, take care and keep brewing positivity. We'll see y'all later. Bye now.
Bye.